And aldosterone targets sodium channels. So what it is that sodium channels will give us the ability to retain sodium at renal level. So we're dealing with distal convoluted tubal part of nephron. So when you retain that sodium, guess what? Retaining sodium means retaining solute, so you're creating greater osmolality, and that attracts water, right? So by retaining sodium, basically we end up with retaining water. The water that is going to go to our blood vessels, so it goes to blood, and then it increases blood volume, and that increases blood pressure problem solved. So by regulating water. So that's one example of how water movement and electrolytes, in this case sodium, work together to maintain blood pressure in case of hypoglycemic shock. That's why it's important to know. Okay? And it's not just that. Another example of hormonal regulation is ADH. That's very famous. You should be familiar with that. So the ADH, antidiuretic hormones, I'm going to draw a line here so we can see everything organized. So ADH regulates loss of water at nephron level, basically. So the ADH is coming from pituitary and hypothalamus and all of that, so it's going to end up doing what? It promotes urine output restriction. So basically what it is that when it's present, it will put restriction on urine output, therefore most of the urine is water, right? So we get to keep the water and keep the body dehydrated. So the way it works, that is going to work on aquaporin channels at distal convoluted tubal and a collecting duct level. And as a result of that, we get to retain water. Same thing, retain water means you're going to add that to blood volume, and then that regulates blood pressure. So that's another example of how fluids and electrolytes are important for us to maintain homeostasis. I'm going to give you one more example, and then we wrap it up. The other one is coming from a strange place, from your heart, from the atria of the heart. We get to also release ANP, atrionatriuretic peptide. So when we release that from atria of the heart, that is in response to elevated blood pressure. So when you're elevating blood pressure, it puts more pressure on the heart. So atria, left and right, they're going to be stretched, and that initiates the release of ANP. So what happens is then increased blood pressure will trigger the release of ANP, and then that is going to target eventually the same place, our renal system. So what it is that it's going to actually promote excretion of sodium from our body. And then wherever sodium goes, water follows. That would be the osmotic force or osmolality. So as you're getting rid of sodium, guess what? You will increase urine output, but water output. So that drops plasma, and then that drops blood pressure. Once again, regulating sodium and regulating water in opposite way. So pretty much what I need you to take from this workshop is to understand the role of fluids and electrolytes in maintaining blood pressure, in transportation of materials, and focus on these forces and how these forces get to play a role in movement of water and electrolytes. And that wraps up our workshop. Thank you.